What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy DFS Up North with another edition of Up North Best Bets for the Sharp app. If you are not in the beta for the Sharp app, you are missing out. We have all of our content on there. It is rolling. We got baseball. We got free bets of the day. We got my content. Stowie's putting stuff up. Like, it is fantastic. And not only is it fantastic, it looks so clean. Like, you go to some apps and it's like, it's just a clunky version of their website. I gotta use my fat finger to try to click. Like, it is so clean. Like, I'm so excited about this app. It is going to be fantastic. But we are here today to talk about the John Deere Classic and my outright bets. We were so close last week. We almost hit on Hank Lebioda at 120 to 1. Just missed out on the playoff. But it was a really, really positive week for us. And in golf, those are a little bit hard to come by. We in the golf world know that there is a ton of variance, right? You are betting on a guy to win an event out of 156 people every week. It is a tough go. But like I always say, your head-to-heads, your group bets, your round bets, those are like your cash games. So those of you who are maybe coming over to betting for the first time from the DFS side, your head-to-heads, your groups, your round matchups, those are your cash games. That's where you have to hit week in and week out. And last week was a fantastic week for us. In my total return and head-to-head group in rounds 1 through 4 matchups was plus 4.79 units. That was huge, right? I think I only had one loss or two losses on head-to-head bets, one in round 1, one in round 4. The rest, we either washed bets or won them. We had a big hit on, if you were to read my article in the Sharp app on Friday or on Saturday night, you would have seen that I was calling for this event to go to a playoff. They were giving us plus 275, which was crazy. I said half unit, you can bet it up to a unit. And that really, kind of solidified a nice profit for us for the week. Outrights, right? Could have been a massive week. Could have been a plus 34 unit week with the Hank Lebioda win, but ends up a minus 1.3 unit week for me in outrights. And again, that's sort of how it goes in PGA golf betting. You're gonna hit maybe 2, 3, 4 outrights a year, and that's gonna carry you, right? Your week, or that's gonna help, kind of boost your overall total. But your week in, week out is that head-to-head group round bets. Those are tough to grind. You gotta do the research on them. But guess what? You don't have to do the research, because if you're a member of the Sharp app, I do the research for you. I hit you up. We ride and die together, right? So plus 349 unit return for the week. Help me out. We've had a couple of tough weeks here to start. The last 2 weeks we were minus 3.29. So now my 3-week total, we are up 0.2 units, and we're gonna keep that rolling here at the John Deere Classic, right? We play at TPC Deere Run. This is in the Quad Cities area of Iowa and Illinois. Par 35, 35 on the front, 36 in the back, par 71, 72.68. Really, really slow. 11.5 centimeter. Now, people tend to think that slow greens benefit bad putters, but there is nothing further from the truth. Bad putters want fast greens. Fast greens tend to make it all about distance control and less about finding the right line and the right speed. All right. Slow greens benefit good putters. We want to target guys who are good putters this week, and specifically guys who are good bentgrass putters, because we are back on bentgrass this week. Bentgrass pretty much throughout, bluegrass in the rough. This is a very, very, I don't want to say a muni type of course, but it's a muni. It's kind of like what me and you play, right? Unless you're super rich, like my boy Stats and our members of some big time golf clubs down in Florida, right? This is a pretty standard course. It's going to be fairly green. They do a nice job of keeping it in pretty good shape. They have had a ton of rain this spring, and then that followed with really, really hot weather. So they had all this rain that really kind of greened things up. Then they had hot weather. They've had to water it. I think that the course is going to play pretty lush, which means that there's going to be an emphasis on hitting fairways here, but also that the greens are going to be very, very receptive. All right. And what that means is that you are going to see another huge birdie fest here. Last year, I believe, or we didn't play this last year. This one got kicked off the schedule. We had Dylan Fratelli winning 2 years ago at minus 19. And then 3 years before that, Michael Kim out of nowhere won at minus 27 by 8 strokes. And I think if this course plays soft, like we're kind of expecting, we're going to see another -25, -26 score this week. And with the, the kind of weaker field that we have here, I really think that there are some guys that are going to, maybe get their first tour win. Maybe they're going to, come from way, way deep. So it's a pretty fun course to play on. It's a fun course to watch because there's birdies everywhere. So weekly betting strategy, again, how should you allocate your money on Golf Bets Weekly? We talked a little bit about this earlier, but outrights, we're looking at just 1 to 2 units, right? And then everything else, we're looking at another 2 to 3 units. So outrights, 1 to 2 units. Head-to-head matchups, 1 to 4 rounds, we're looking at 1 to 1.5. Your daily head-to-head matchups, 1 to 1.5. Betting those T5, T10, T20, you're looking at another 1.5. And then your first-round leaders, which I didn't play any last week. I have a hard time betting first-round leaders, especially in events that like this are kind of birdie fest with the group betting. We hit last week on Cam Davis's low Australian. Dummy me, should have bet him to win, but hey, I took plus 425 on the low Australian. Exotics, things like that are, maybe a 6-shooter, things like, will there be a playoff, which we hit on last week as well. So let's get right to it. I got 5 bets for you this week, and my first bet is a former top 10 finisher here and a guy who's been on fire lately, besides when we bet him last time at the Travelers and he missed the cut, and that's Kevin Streelman. Just playing smalls, excellent golf. The putter's been so improved, and that's going to really help him this week. He loves a birdie fest. His iron play's been great. He's the type of guy that's made his kept his tour card at events like this. These events where the suds aren't coming. These guys that are maybe that bottom 2/3, bottom third. They gotta make their money here at these events to keep themselves in the mix. And that's exactly what Kevin Streelman does at events like this. Like I said, he loves this event. No miscuts here, 7th 2 years ago or 3 years ago. And that putter being improved is really, really the key here. I think there's decent value at 28 to 1. Sometimes the books, they don't, when there's a field like this, they feel like they have to kind of keep in that same sort of structure in how they price guys down. I really think in this field, Streelman should be 18, 19, 20 to 1. So we're getting some value here. DraftKings has really this week in all of their odds really given us some nice prices. I think all of my outright bets this week are from DraftKings. Nobody else is even close. Like Streels is 21 to 1 on FanDuel, I believe. So love that here. And I really like the plus 500 T5, 2 units. I'm just looking to, maybe double up my investment if he gets close and misses, kind of like what we did with Lebiota last week. Another guy, Seamus Power, all right? He wasn't even in the field last week until Wednesday and continued just his excellent play. He's been grinding. He's been having to play Monday qualifiers because he doesn't have status. His top finish last week got him into here. Gained strokes everywhere, right? At the Rocket Mortgage Classic, but specifically with his putter. 1.45 average strokes gained putting. That means that he was one of the best putters at the Rocket Mortgage Classic last week on bent grass greens, which we are going to play at the JDC here as well. Loves a birdie fest. 3 straight made cuts at this event, including a 16th place finish. So he's very, very familiar. I love the value on Seamus Power at 4,500. 0.3 units. I might bump this up to 0.5 myself if you want to do that. But for the official play, we'll keep it at 0.3 units here. But I do like a plus 350 top 10 at 0.3 units as well. Lebiota, plus 700, 0.5 units on DraftKings. I am pushing the chips back in on Lebiota. So we had him at 120 to 1 last week. He got so close. He needed to birdie the par 5 17th. Couldn't quite get it done. But right back to the well here. 6 straight made cuts. 4th last week. Putter's been super hot, especially on bent grass. I love that 700, but for me, I'm gonna put, I like to look at, what are guys' top 5, top 10, top 20 units or 20 bets or what are their odds here? I am pushing a full unit in on Hank Lebiota at plus 335 to finish in the top 20 at this event. That is a big boy bet for me. I don't do that, but I'm so confident in Big Hank with the awful mustache here that he is going to finish in the top 20 this week at another birdie fest that I'm all in. I love Lebiota this week. Another guy that I really like, a guy that kind of popped, and I bet against him, and he fought on Saturday in a head-to-head against Kevin Kisner, and he really fought back and played really well. And that's Richie Werenski, the big, tall guy. It's rare to see a guy that's big and tall like Werenski and lanky who's a really good putter, but that's probably his strength. His putting ability allows him to contend in a birdie fest like this because the guy, when he gets hot, can make everything. And he's got the iron play to boot, right? He's never missed a cut here. Best finish has only been 23rd. plus 700 is a little short, or plus 70, a little short for a guy who's looking for his maiden victory. I don't love it. I wish he was maybe a little bit further down the board, but again, DraftKings is just such a good value here. Everybody else is 60, 55. I'm going to be in on that. And then for this guy, I'm going to go plus 600 T10. So for him to finish in the top 10, 0.2 units. Love me some Richie W this week. And this is the first of probably a couple. I'm going to have an article out on Wednesday, I believe, that talks about my head-to-head matchups and 72-hole tournament matchups, round one, all that good stuff on the Sharp app, which if you're not a member or if you're not in on the beta yet, the information is attached to this video about how to become a member of one of our beta testers for the Sharp app. Get in early. A guy that I'm kind of intrigued by, just because the number is so big, is Michael Gellerman. He played really, really well at the Rocket Mortgage Classic last week. Gained strokes approach, gained strokes putting. He's been solid on the Korn Ferry Tour, and when he gets spot starts here on the PGA. I'm just throwing a dart 0.1 at 400 to 1. If I can, pull back 40 units, but he somehow wins. But what I really like is the plus 1100 T20 bet. This guy finds way into the top 20. We're looking at a 0.2 unit bet on him to, get 2.2 back. I really think that is a strong bet this week. So in conclusion, my outrights this week we are going with Kevin Streelman at 28 to 1, half a unit on DraftKings. Seamus Power, 45 to 1, 0.3 units. We've got Hanky Lebiota, we are pushing the chips in here. Half a unit at 70 to 1 and a full unit for a T20 at plus 335, right? Looking to return 3.35 units on a top 20 bet. Richie Wierenski, the big, tall, lanky guy who can putt, 70 to 1.4 units and a 0.2 unit bet at plus 600 top 10. And then my boy, Mikey Gellerman, he's a little bit of a chunk. Guy can get it out there. He plays well. A dart throw lotto ticket at 400 to 1, but I like a plus 1100 at T20 for 2 units. So be on the lookout for all of that other info from me this week. I'm hopefully going to have something up for the match tomorrow. We got Bryson and Phil. So be on the lookout for that, and we will chat with you guys later.